The chandeliers inside the silver garden glimmered like suspended constellations, scattering soft light across white tablecloths and polished glass. Beneath them, Lily Hart moved through the dining room with the fluid grace of someone who had learned to hide exhaustion behind posture. The faint clatter of plates rang behind her, mixed with the muffled hum of conversations and the subtle sweep of a violin track drifting from hidden speakers. Her feet ached in black heels she could no longer feel. A dull burn pulsed along her arches with each step. She had already worked 6 hours, with 4 more ahead, and survival was the only thing keeping her upright. The weight of hospital bills, the overdue rent notice tucked into her apron pocket, the image of her younger brother Noah lying pale in a hospital bed. Tonight, the Silver Garden was filled with wealthy families celebrating promotions and anniversaries. But Lily carried a different world inside her, one of oncology wards, ramen packets, and prayers whispered into a cheap pillow. At table 7 sat a man she had served twice before, the kind of presence who made silence look intentional. Adrian Cole, mid-30s, sharp suit, colder eyes, silver threading his dark hair. He had the calm, controlled aura of someone used to bending the world to his will. And yet he always sat alone, as if solitude suited him better than company. When she approached his table with a plate balanced along her arm, he finally looked up from his phone. His eyes, dark, focused, unsettlingly direct, lingered on her face longer than usual. "You look tired," he said quietly, his voice smooth, low, carrying a warmth that surprised her. "I'm fine," Lily answered with a polite smile. "Long shift, that's all." The sound of crystal glasses clinking echoed faintly from the bar. A draft from the main door swept through the room, brushing a chill along her arms. "Sit," he said. She blinked. "Sir, I'm working." He placed crisp bills, $500, on the table. "5 minutes," he said. "I'm paying for your time. Sit." Her pulse quickened. She glanced around. Her manager was nowhere in sight. The dinner rush had softened. Against every better instinct she possessed, she slid into the chair across from him. "Your name?" he asked, watching her with an intensity that felt almost clinical. "Lily Hart." "Lily." He repeated it as if tasting syllables he hadn't used in years. "You're different from the others. You carry yourself like someone who refuses to break." She stiffened. She knew where speeches like this usually went. Men with money often mistook power for charm. "If this is a proposition," she said, her voice edged with warning, "save your breath." A faint smile touched his lips, not amused, but intrigued. "It is a proposition," he admitted, "but not the kind you're thinking of." A soft murmur of laughter drifted from a distant table. Somewhere behind her, silverware chimed against porcelain. "I need someone for one night," he said. "A companion for a formal event. Nothing physical, nothing implied. A role. 8 hours. $50,000. The hum of the restaurant fell away. $50,000. Enough to buy Noah more time. Enough to pay rent, buy real food, breathe without fear. She swallowed. What would I have to do? Dress the part, stay by my side. A few dances, perhaps, make conversation, appear invested in my company. His gaze sharpened. "You want nothing from me except money. That makes you the perfect choice." Her breath trembled. Desperation made decisions quickly. "I need a contract," she said. "Clear terms, payment split, no physical expectations." "You'll have it tomorrow," he replied, "half upon signing." The violin faded, replaced by quiet piano notes. Lily stared at the money on the table, then she nodded. "Agreed." For just a second, barely long enough to name, it looked like relief flickered through his eyes. The contract arrived at her apartment the next morning, delivered by a man in a black suit whose shoes shone like mirrors. Lily read the details twice. Conditions, boundaries, confidentiality, payment, and then, with shaking hands, she signed. Hours later, cashier's checks sat on her kitchen table, more money than she had ever seen. The soft buzz of the refrigerator filled the silence. Lily pressed a hand to her mouth as the weight of survival loosened inside her chest. She wired payment for Noah's next chemotherapy cycle and caught herself crying quietly into her palms. On Friday afternoon, stylist Amelia arrived with garment bags that filled her whole living room. She circled Lily with the meticulous eye of an artist. "You have elegant bones," Amelia murmured. "We'll work with that." Scissors snipped, brushes swept. The faint scent of hairspray drifted in the air. 3 hours later, Lily barely recognized herself. An emerald silk gown traced her figure, shimmering softly when she moved. Her hair fell in delicate waves over her shoulders. Makeup transformed her tired eyes into something luminous. "You belong in any room you walk into," Amelia whispered. "Don't forget that." At 7 p.m. Saturday, a sleek black car waited outside Lily's building. The city buzzed around her. The whoosh of the passing taxis, the distant wail of a siren, the murmuring crowd outside a nearby restaurant. The car took her to the Aurelia Hotel, famous enough to appear in magazines Lily had never been able to afford. The driver opened her door, and then she saw him. Adrian Cole. He stepped forward from the golden-lit entrance, wearing a black tuxedo that looked made for him. His expression shifted, just slightly, when he saw her. Something softened. Something human. "Lily," he said, "you look extraordinary." Her heartbeat stumbled, but she forced her, voice steady. "Where's the gala?" He held her gaze. Then, with a calmness that chilled her, he said, "There is no gala." The muffled sound of a lobby crowd drifted through the hotel doors. Lily stepped back. "You lied." "Yes, and I will explain. Inside the lobby bar, public space, full visibility." She weighed the exit behind her. Then her brother's face rose in her mind. She followed him inside. The bar was all warm gold and quiet jazz. Candlelight flickered off mirrored walls. The low hum of conversation created a protective veil around their booth. Adrian set a whiskey before him, a champagne flute before her. "My mother died 3 years ago," he began, staring into the amber drink. "She left me a letter. It said I would lose myself chasing success, that I would become hollow. She asked me to find someone who saw value differently, someone who could help me understand worth." The piano's soft melody brushed the air. A glass clinked somewhere behind them. "She left a box for me," he continued, "in the presidential suite upstairs, to be opened only in the presence of such a person." "And you think that person is me?" Lily whispered. "I know it is." Her pulse thudded softly in her ears. 30 minutes, she said. "I listen. If I don't like what I hear, I leave." "Fair." The presidential suite was quiet except for the soft thrum of city traffic beyond floor-to-ceiling windows. New York glowed beneath them, rivers of light weaving through darkness. In the center of the room sat a simple wooden box, no gold, no lock, no ornaments. Adrian's breath hitched as he opened it. Inside lay a leather journal and a sealed envelope. He opened the letter. As he read, his eyes shimmered with something raw, grief he had hidden beneath money and power. He handed it to her. "My son, if you are reading this, you finally found someone who sees the world with gentleness, not greed. Stay close to this person. They will help you reclaim the joy success took from you. Remember, price is not worth. Money is not love. And the richest person in any room is the one with the most to give." Eleanor Lily felt tears sting her eyes. This wasn't a test. It was a plea. Adrian closed the journal and exhaled shakily. "She tried to teach me. I wouldn't listen." Lily hesitated, then revealed her truth. She turned slightly, lifting the back of her gown just enough to show the pale, raised scars tracing her shoulder blades. The air in the room shifted, soft, reverent. "A car crash," she said softly. "My parents died. I survived. Multiple surgeries. Everything I had saved for law school went to Noah's treatment instead. I'm not graceful. I'm just someone trying not to drown." Adrian's eyes softened with something she hadn't expected. Recognition. He loosened his shirt and revealed his own scar, long, thin, and haunting. "Heart surgery," he murmured. 2 years ago. I kept working anyway. I buried myself in deals so I wouldn't feel anything. 2 souls, 2 bodies marked by pain. 2 people pretending they were whole. The silence between them felt like truth. "Stay tonight," he whispered. Not romantically, as 2 people reading my mother's words. I think she meant for this to happen. And Lily stayed. They read until the city outside grew quiet, until night folded into something tender. They shared pieces of their lives in fragments, like puzzle pieces slowly finding place. At dawn, Adrian's phone erupted with sharp vibrations, urgent messages, the tone of crisis. The quiet peace shattered. "My company?" he said, voice tightening. "Someone is trying to take it." He turned to Lily. "Come with me." The headquarters of Cole Horizon Group pulsed with alarm. The elevator dinged softly, spilling them into chaos. Screens glowed, phones rang, advisors shouted strategies. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead like nervous energy. Lily stood beside him, a strange calm settling over her as she watched Adrian become the cold corporate commander again. Decisive, brilliant, relentless. But she also saw the tremor in his fingers, the subtle press of his hand to his chest. His past was catching up. Hours passed in a blur. Then she pulled him into his office and shut the door behind them. "You're killing yourself," she said. "Your mother wanted you to learn something. And right now you are proving her right." His jaw clenched. "If I lose this company..." "Then you lose a company," she said. "But if you lose yourself again, what's the point of surviving the surgery?" He stared at her, the storm behind his eyes cracking open. "What would you do?" "I'd choose life." A beat, then another. Outside, the muffled roar of advisors leaked through the door. Inside, everything stilled. Adrian dialed a number. His voice was quiet, steady. "I'm stepping down. Yes. Effective today." He ended the call and leaned against the window as dawn broke over Manhattan. "I feel lighter," he whispered. Lily stepped beside him. Maybe that was the whole lesson. He turned to her. "Help me build something new, a foundation for families like yours. Let me fund Noah's care. Let me rebuild my life with purpose." She swallowed. "Only if we do it as equals." "For the first time in my life," he murmured. "That's all I want." 6 months later, Lily was pacing outside Noah's hospital room while the soft beeping of machines echoed down the hall. The antiseptic smell of the oncology wing clung to her clothes. The doctor emerged. "The transplant worked," she said gently. "He's in remission." Lily's knees buckled. Adrian caught her before she hit the floor. She sobbed into his chest, the kind of sob that empties a year of fear. "Thank you," she whispered. "No," he murmured into her. "Hair." "Thank yourself. You saved him long before I arrived." They visited Noah together. He was pale, but smiling. "You two should just date already," he muttered. "I'm sick, not blind." Adrian laughed for the first time in months, a warm, unguarded sound, and Lily finally admitted the truth. "I love you," she whispered. "I think I have for a while." Adrian cupped her face, gentle as sunrise. "We'll learn this together," he said. "No performances, no masks, just us." He kissed her, soft, slow, real. A year later, Lily returned to law school. She balanced classes with her role as executive director of their foundation, helping families drowning in medical debt. Adrian found meaning in work for the first time, not profit, but impact. One quiet spring evening, he brought her back to the Aurelia Hotel, the same suite, the same dim glow, the same city humming below like a distant heartbeat. He knelt, held out a simple emerald ring. "Lily Hart," he said softly, "will you build this life with me, not out of need, but out of choice?" Her eyes warmed with tears. Yes. When he slipped the ring onto her finger, everything felt aligned. Their scars, their stories, their second chances. Outside the windows, the city lights shimmered like 1,000 tiny blessings. And somewhere deep in Lily's memory, she heard the echo of their beginning. One night, $50,000. She smiled. In the end, she whispered, we didn't perform a role. We found a life. And the world outside hummed softly, as if agreeing.